Welcome to your HTML project for beginners. You'll be using everything you've learned about HTML5 to build a website for the Little Taco Shop. Let's begin the HTML project. Hello and welcome. Hi, I'm Dave. This tutorial is part of a beginner's HTML series. I'll be using the Chrome web browser, the Visual Studio Code editor, and the live server extension for Visual Studio Code to view the web page. There are links to these tools, starter code files, and all resources in the description below. Let's get started by looking at the Little Taco Shop website. So we've got a basic website here that we created with HTML. It has a nav menu at the top and an image here in the header. And then we've got a description that says About LTS, which is an abbreviation for Little Taco Shop. And we can see that linked in the nav. So instantly we know that is an anchor link. And when we click it, it takes us directly to that part of the page. It has some information about LTS. And it even has some emphasis on text here where it says love of tacos. We can see some taco emojis, and there is a link in the directions to Emojipedia where you can get emojis and just paste them in with your text. Emojis do work in HTML. There's a taco trivia section, and you'll have to go back in the lessons and remember how we showed something in the HTML, and then we're able to click the arrow and it shows more information. This is all done with HTML, not CSS. Very minimal CSS is applied and available in the style.css file inside the CSS folder. If we scroll back up, we can see there's also a link to our menu, and if we click that, it takes us to the part of the page that has the menu. And here the menu is a table, so you'll have to go back over your knowledge of HTML tables and how to create this table. Once again, minimal CSS is already available, and it will apply to the table as you create it. Of course, there's also a back to the top link, and we've got some copyright information with an HTML entity for the copyright sign at the bottom. We click back to the top, we're back at the top, and we need to look at the store hours page. And once we click that, it navigates to another HTML page. So we've got index.html, and now the second page is hours.html. It also has a navigation menu at the top. As you can see, it's an unordered list, and you'll need to remember how to create that. And now notice this is different. Now we have a link to the home instead of the hours page. So it's not just the same navigation. It adapts to what page, of course, and you'll have to create that for each page. We've got another image, and once again, the image has a caption. And then we've got the hours. This looks like a list, but you'll need to remember what type of list creates a list that looks like this, where it says we're open 7 days a week, which is a description, such as a paragraph, but then this part, starting with Sunday and going through the hours, is all a list. We've got back to the top again, and we've got the same information in the footer. So let's click back to the top, and we have our menu. Now let's go to the Contact Us page. And on the Contact Us page, you can see there's a link now back to the store hours, and also links to home and the different parts of the home page. Now that's something to consider too, that we're not just linking to another page, but we're linking to a section of that home page. Then there is the image, Little Taco Shop Tacos, for the caption. And we've got the contact form, and you can go back over the forms tutorial to learn how to create this form, and you can submit this form just like we did in the forms tutorial. We aren't creating the back end that will process the form, but you can set it up to submit to the site we used in the forms tutorial that will just show the information submitted. And then there is an Our Location section, and if you remember the HTML element to use for an address, this is what you want to put inside of that. And look, the link to the phone number, and if you're on a mobile device, this of course is a false or fake number, but this should actually work as a phone number if you create the correct link. And we've got back to the top again. And that pretty much covers the site, but just to reference, let's go ahead and click the About LTS, which will not only take us to the home page, but to the specific part of the page. So you also want to be able to link to that specific part from another page, not just on the page itself, such as when we clicked About when we were on the home page and it took us directly there. So you can also do that from other pages. Now, as we look at the starter files for this project, not only is there a readme.md file that has the directions, and these directions are in a markdown file. That's what .md is. And this is making it very easy to read on GitHub, where you look at the resources. And so you can also just read them in here like this. But the other beginner files are already here. So you've already got a fave icon that you would link to in the head of each page. You've already got some CSS inside of the CSS folder, and you can link to this style.css in the head of every page as well. You've got all three images, one for each page here, and you've got some examples. And these examples are important because you'll want to go back and reference that. You don't necessarily have to always go back and pause the video. You can just click on the image, and I have made full screen captures of the entire page, so you don't have to scroll. You could zoom in a little if you want to, but you have these to reference. So here's the contact page when it shows up. There we go. And there's an hours capture as well. So you've got one for home, one for hours, and one for contact. And you can reference these visually to help you create these pages. It looks like it just takes a little bit to show up inside of Visual Studio Code. Of course, you could open these image files with some other software if you want to as well, or directly in the browser and just keep different tabs open to view each image file if you want to. That would also work. So there you go. You've got to create 3 HTML pages here in the root of your tutorial folder, and then reference these other files. And you've got the examples to look at, and you've got the fave icon file already as well. So if we go back to the directions, let me see if I left anything out. You've got your files all named index, hours, and contact. We talked about that. Minimal CSS available inside of the styles file, styles.css. All images are provided. And if you need taco emojis, here's a link to that as well. And the fave icon is included. So that's everything. Good luck with the challenge. And then, of course, after this, you want to pause the video and complete it to the best of your ability. And then I'll walk through and create these pages with you for the solution afterwards. So don't do that now. Pause the video and actually attempt it on your own. That's the best way to get better at something. Try this out for yourself before you allow me to walk you through it. Okay, let's get started building our project. I'll close this readme.md, and I'll close any image file that we had open before. Matter of fact, I'll collapse the examples. And we're just going to create the 3 HTML files that we need first. So we need index.html, and then we also need contact.html, and if I remember right, we need hours.html. Okay, with our 3 empty files created, let's go ahead and start on the first one, which is index.html. We know every document starts with doc type, and if I press tab, it adds the HTML. From there, we know we need the HTML. I need lowercase, or I prefer lowercase. And then we need the attribute lang, and that equals English is what I'll put. Of course, you could put something different there if you want to. We instantly get the closing HTML tag. If you don't, of course, add that as well. From there, let's create the head section. So here's the head element, and I've got the closing head element, and this will contain several meta elements. The first one has the character set attribute, and we specify UTF-8. After that, I have another meta, and this is going to be name equals author, and of course this should be your name. I'll put my name here, so Dave Gray. After that, meta name equals description, and this is where we describe the page. So once again, we have a content attribute, and I'm going to put the official website for the, and I need to press Alt-Z to wrap the code here, little, oops, I didn't get a space, little taco shop. And I should really put a capital T there as well because it's the official name. Okay, so we've got the little taco shop. And of course, that's what our title will be for the page as well. So we want the little, need to spell this correctly, the little taco shop in the title as well. After the title, let's add a link. And here we're going to say rel, which is related. It's an icon, and the href. And now let's put in that fave icon that we have. And after that, we'll say this is type equals image/x-icon. And now let's add one more link tag. And how it's related to the page is it's a style sheet. And now the href will point to that CSS style sheet. So we need, there it is, CSS, and then we want style.css. And after that, we can close our link tag, and we're finished with the head. So I'm going to press Control-S to save. Now I could copy this much and paste it into the other two pages and just make a few changes, but I'm going to do just a few more things before I do that. So just underneath the head, we'll start our body element. And then in the body element, we'll start with a header element. Inside the header element, we're going to have an H1, and we'll say, welcome to the little, still not typing that right, there we go, the little taco shop, and that is our H1 heading for the page. Remember, every page should only have one H1 header. I'll scroll up now for some more room. And now we'll start our nav element. This is where our navigation menu will be. We get that closing element. Inside the nav element, we're going to have an unordered list. And then each list item will have a different link. So here we'll start out with, well, let me put a line in between. There we go. Let's start out with our anchor tag, and the href is going to equal hashtag about. So this is going to link to an about section on this page. So I'll say about right there. And then after that, let's go ahead and put an abbreviation element inside of our link. And here we can give a title to this abbreviation, and this will be the little, I spelled it right that time, taco shop. And then we'll close that out. And since we're abbreviating, we'll put LTS. So our link says about LTS. And now we can just copy this link item down. So highlight the full LI, and then I press Control Alt and the down arrow. It should be the same for you on Windows. It may be a little different on a Mac or Linux. Now the next link is much easier here. So we'll just say about, and it is hashtag menu. I want all lowercase again. So no abbreviation for the menu. So it's just about menu, or I'll put our menu. I think that's what's actually on the page. And then from there, we can copy this down. Once again, a little easier for the next link. And let's copy it one more time. There we go, 3 our menus. Let's change this second menu, that's the hashtag menu, to our hours.html. So we're linking directly to another page now. And then we can put store hours. And then for this last one, we'll remove the hashtag menu, and we'll put our contact.html, and then we'll put contact us here instead of our menu. Now I'm going to scroll just a little bit more, and while we're still in the header, out of the nav, but in the header, I'm going to add a figure. And then inside this figure, we'll add our image. So here's our image element, and we'll give it a source equal to, and then we want to specify our image folder, and then let's pick our tacos and drink image. And once we have that image, we can add some alt text for that actually says what it is. So we'll put tacos and a drink. Remember, alt text makes our images more accessible. And then we have a title, and we'll say, we love tacos. The title does not have to be the same as the alt text. And then let's provide the width, and I notice I saved the width and the height in the image name. So the width is 400, and then the height equals 267. And we can close out our image tag. But we're not quite finished with our figure yet. Let's go ahead and add a fig caption element. And inside this, we'll give a description. Once again, tacos and a drink as our caption for the image. Okay, now we've completed the header. So let's once again scroll up for some more room. And then in between the header and the main element, let's put a horizontal rule. And after that, let's put a main element where the body of our page will be. And so right now, let's leave a comment saying our content will go here. And then after that, we'll have another HR, and then we'll have a footer element. And now we need to put something in the footer as well. If you remember from the example, each footer had a paragraph that said copyright. And now we need to use an HTML entity for the copyright symbol, and that is ampersand copy with a semicolon, and then we'll just say the little taco shop. And now we can save this, and now we're really ready to copy all of this code and put it into the other pages as well, and we'll just need to make a few changes. And then when we add actual content to each of the pages, that's where it will really differ. So I'm going to press Control-A to highlight everything, and then Control-C to copy everything, go to the contact page, and press Control-V to paste that in, Control-S to save, go to the hours page and do the same, Control-V to paste it all in, and Control-S to save. Okay, while we're on the hours page, let's make the changes here first. I need to press Alt-Z again in each one of these files to get the code to wrap in each one. So now we can make our changes. Everything is the same as far as the author and the content, but when we get to description, we'll have a different description. This will be store hours for the little taco shop. And now that we've changed our description, we can also change our title. Instead of the little taco shop here, let's put LTS hours. Since it's not the home page, we'll just go ahead and abbreviate, as we can assume the owner, employees, and even the townspeople in the little town for the little taco shop refer to the little taco shop as LTS. Now let's scroll down into the body where we have our header, and a little bit needs to change here too. So it's not welcome to the little taco shop here. We'll put the little taco shop and then hours after that. And now our nav is going to change somewhat too. So it's not just a link to about LTS. We need to go to another page. And if you remember, we can just go to the slash to go to the home page. So here we need /about to go to the about section of the little taco shop on the home page. So we'll do the same for the menu. And now where we have hours, we can just eliminate this because we're going to put in a home link instead. So I'm going to press Control-X to cut it out, and then just backspace out that extra line here. Scroll to the very top and paste in the one that I just cut out. And now we're going to link to just that slash that I was talking about, and that will link to the home page. So let's change this store hours to home, and I'll save that much. Now let's scroll down a little bit further, and we need to change out our image as well. So now we're not going to use the tacos and a drink image. We wouldn't want that on more than one page. So now I want image slash, and we'll choose tacos tray. Now notice it's also 400 by 267, so we don't need to change that. But let's change what it says here for the alt text, and we'll say a tray of tasty tacos. And then we can add a tray of tasty tacos for the fig caption as well. I should have just highlighted that. Copy and paste again, Control-C over the fig caption and Control-V. And we could leave "We love tacos" for the title here as well, but let's put "We love trays of tacos." That's some nice title text as well. And remember, the title shows when you put your mouse over the image. And if we scroll down, we don't really need to change anything because the footer stays the same between all the pages. So we're finished with the immediate changes to the hours HTML. Now let's go make those same types of changes to the contact.html. I need to scroll back up to the top first and press Alt-Z to get the code to wrap. Now we need to change the description again. So let's change this to contact information for the little taco shop. And let's change the title for the page as well. And here we'll put contact us. And then let's put a dash and put LTS, just because we want the LTS in the title for everything that's not the home page. and we leave everything else the same. So now we can scroll up, and this is the Contact Us page. So let's highlight this H1, change this part to Contact Us. And now for the About, once again, we could actually go over to the Hours. And now let's copy this nav, and we'll just have to change a little bit less that way. So copy the nav, and now we'll highlight the nav that we have in here and paste in the new one from the Hours page. So now we have the same home link, we have the same About link, we have the same menu link, and we only need to change Contact to Hours. So this will link to Hours, and then we just change this Contact Us to Store Hours. And let's save that much. Okay, scrolling down to the figure, we need to change out our image again. This one's just a little different. So now we've already had tacos and a drink and the tacos tray. This is tacos close up. And notice the size is a little different, 400 by 260. So we've got 400 here, but we need to change this to 260 instead of 267. Okay, now our alt, of course, will be a little different as well. This will be Little Taco Shop Tacos. And now for the title, let's put Tacos Ready to Eat. And then we can put Little Taco Shop Tacos here too. So I'll once again highlight that alt text and put the same text in here for the caption that we're showing on the page. And if we scroll down, we can see our footer remains the same here too. So let's save the page, and we're ready to begin working on content for each of the pages. Okay, I'm going back to the index HTML, and I'm going to click Go Live, or I could right click and choose Open with Live Server, because we're using the Live Server extension to view our web page, and we can go ahead and start looking at our page. It doesn't have a lot on it, but it has enough to get started here. We've got our header section, and we've got the menu with the different links. So now I'm going back to the code. I'm going to resize Visual Studio Code and press Control B to hide the file tree so I have more room to see the code, and we're ready to add content to the page inside of the main element. I'll delete that, and we'll start with an article element. I'm going to give this an ID equal to About, so our About anchor tag works, our link works. Now I'll put an H2, and inside the H2 I'm going to put About, and then we need that abbreviation with the title value again of the Little Taco Shop. And now we'll put LTS, there we go. And that completes the header. So now let's put some content. We'll have a paragraph here. And I'm going to take that same abbreviation and start the paragraph with that. So LTS was founded in, and now remember, we can use a time element to give some meaning to the dates and times we put on our page. So I'm going to put a time element here with a date time equal to 2022. So the Little Taco Shop is a fairly new location. Get a period at the end of that sentence, and we can put our shop was built on, or it was built from, there we go, a love of tacos. And now we'll put a period there. We'll say we hope our shop adds a unique and interesting place to our little town. Now let's add just a little more flavor to this paragraph. So we can put a strong element, and then we'll put love of tacos inside that so it has some emphasis. And now we also want to add some taco emojis right after that. So let's go to a new window, and I'm going to type in emojipedia.org. And there you can search for emojis. I'm searching for taco. And once I find taco, I'm going to click that, and it allows me to copy that emoji. So after I say a love of tacos, I'll put a space and Control V, Control V, Control V, just pasted in 3 tacos. So I'm going to close out Emojipedia. We no longer need that. But let's save this and see what we get on our page. So now if we look at this, we've got about LTS, and there's the abbreviation, and when we mouse over we get Little Taco Shop. And now we've got our paragraph for the about information. Now I'm going to scroll up just a little more, but right after the paragraph I'm going to use another semantic element called aside, if you remember that one. And for the aside, I'm going to put an H3 header, so we're following that header hierarchy. Put taco trivia. So for taco trivia, we're going to have a question that only shows the answer when you click on it. And for that, we need to start out with a details element, and then inside the details element we're going to use a summary element. So inside the summary is where we ask the question, and we can say, when did tacos first appear in the United States? And now the nice thing is this question will show, but you'll have to click an arrow to see the answer that is contained within, and that's within just the rest of the details here, and it's a paragraph. Now I'm going to copy and paste this paragraph in and put it right here. Now notice I added another time element here with 1905, and we can save that much, and we can see our taco trivia down here at the bottom. And when we click, we see the rest of this. But there's just a little more I would like to add, and it actually has one element in there that was not covered in prior lessons. But remember, there is a wealth of information and many different elements that still remain uncovered, I guess. They're not used as often, but you can look them up on the Mozilla Developer Network. So I'm going to put in a citation, and there is an element in there called cite. So right after this, I'll paste in the citation, and here you can see I put the source. Let me expand Visual Studio Code. That's getting a little cramped. You can see I put the source, and then I put a cite element, C-I-T-E. And inside that cite element, I put the link to the source. So that is right there, and that's Smithsonian Magazine. So now if I save, I'll resize once again to come back and look at our taco trivia. And when I show the information, you can see the citation is put in italics by default with that cite element. Okay, let's resize Visual Studio Code again to get a little more room and scroll up as well. After that aside, we have really completed our first article. So let's put a horizontal rule in here, which also indicates a topic change, at least somewhat, in the main area, and put another article. Now this article, I didn't add the ID, but it needs the ID because the ID equals menu, and this is where we will put the Little Taco Shop menu. We'll start with an H2 again to follow the header hierarchy for our page, and we'll put our menu for that, and then we'll start our table element. Inside the table element, the first thing we're going to add just immediately, if I could start, is a caption. There we go. And we'll just put our tacos for the caption. After that, we need a T head. Inside the T head will be a table row. And the table row is going to have our columns, and these are our heading columns. So the first one is tacos. After tacos, we're going to have a second TH, and this TH is going to have, well, let me go ahead and type TH again. There we go. This TH is going to have a scope, and let's set this scope equal to column because it's for the column. And then we need our abbreviation element once again. So let's type ABBR, and then we'll put the title equal to quantity. And now we can put in the abbreviation for quantity that we want to use, which is commonly QTY. And then we'll add another TH, and it will also have a scope. Let's set this equal to column as well. And this will be the price column. Okay, going to scroll up. As you might have realized when we learned about tables, tables take up a lot more space as you create them in your code. So we've completed the head, and we need more room for the body of the table. Let's add a new row, and inside this row we're going to add another heading, but this will have a different scope. So now that we're back there, we'll go scope equals row, and now that we're ready to put in the value, let's call this crunchy, but I did forget an attribute. This also needs a row span, so this will have a row span equal to 3. Okay, after we've created the scope and the row span with Crunchy, we can't forget the values of the other columns. So now we need 1 for the quantity, and for the next one, which was price, we need $1.50. So there's our first row, and now we can create more rows, but what I really want to do is just take these last 3 and do Shift, Alt, and the down arrow, and then add an opening TR here. I wanted to add a closing TR as well, but we don't need that because this Crunchy is taking up 3 rows. So we don't want to add that row down here. We just need the other 2 rows. So let's turn this one into quantity of 2 and $2.50. Now I'll just highlight this row and take it down one more time, and we'll have a quantity of 3, and we'll put $3.25. So now we've got the feel of this, where we've got the first one with the title and it's taking up 3 rows, and then we've got the quantity and the price. So what I want to do for the next one is to just highlight all of these and press Shift, Alt, and the down arrow, and once again just make changes. So this is going to be soft instead of crunchy, and now we've still got a quantity of 1, but is the price the same? And no, it's not. Soft tacos are a little more expensive, so $2, and then for 2 soft tacos it's $3.50, and for 3 soft tacos it is $4.50. Now let's scroll up some more. We've finished with the body, but we need to add the footer to the table, and that's the T-foot element. And now inside the T-foot, we're going to have a table row, and then we'll have a data cell, table data, and it's going to have a call span attribute. So it's going to span all of the columns, so that's 3. And then inside of the table data, we'll put chips, and then amp is for the ampersand. That is another HTML entity. And then we put salsa, $2. And now we've completed our table, but underneath the table in this last article, let's go ahead and put a line break, and after the break let's put a paragraph, and let's go ahead and add our back to top link. So now we'll have an A with an href. We'll set this equal to the hashtag, which should just reload the page, take us back to the top. And we can save. So now let's resize Visual Studio Code and see if we have all of our content. Yes, we've got the crunchy that took 3 rows and the soft that took 3 rows. There's the table footer. Everything looks like we planned it. And our back to top link is here. It takes us back to the top as well. Our taco trivia. Everything is good about the home page. So now let's work on the store hours page. It is a fairly short page, and there you can see it displayed to the right, and we'll pull up the code here on the left. Okay, let's scroll down, and we've just got a little bit of content to add in the main area here of the body, inside the main element. So we'll start out with a paragraph, and inside this paragraph we'll just say, we are open 7 days a week with an exclamation mark. After that, we need to add a data list. So it starts out with a DL element. Inside the DL element, we'll have a DT, and this is where we'll put our Sunday-Thursday. So Sunday through Thursday. And then underneath that, we'll have a DD element, and that's where we'll put our 11 a.m.-9 p.m. So now we can just copy this down because there's only one more that was like it, and we can just change the days out. So now this will be Friday, Saturday, and then the hours are different as well. It's 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. And we can save that. Now we also need to add a back to the top link as well. So here's our paragraph, and then we can say A with href, once again equal to the hashtag, and back to top, and save once again. And now we can see all of this here on the right. Our back to top really isn't needed because it's so short, but we're just consistent between each page, and that's fine. So now let's go over to the menu page. Or not the menu, I'm sorry. We want to go to the Contact Us page. That's where we are. The menu is on the home page. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to get hungry when I look at those. So let's finish up this project so we can go get some tacos. I'm going to scroll up, and once again, we're going to change out the comment inside of the main element and put in our content. We'll start with an H2 following the header hierarchy. Remember, we already have Contact Us up here in the header, I believe. If we scroll up there, there's the H1. So we want an H2 here. And this H2 is going to say our contact form. Okay, now we need to go ahead and create this form. So we'll start with the form element. And let's go ahead and give it an action. Well, there we go. Form, tab over, and it gives us the action. There we go. And we'll send this to that same website we used in the forms tutorial. That's http://bin.org/get. So we're going to use a get method when we submit it, and we'll at least be able to see the information on that website. So as I said, we use the get method, so let's go ahead and apply that attribute as well. Method equals get. After that, I'm going to put some space here in the form, and we need a field set element. Now we can put our form inside the field set element, and then we'll have a legend element, and here we'll say send us a message. And then we can start in with the description of our form. So we have a paragraph, and then we have a label, and then it has a for, and this will be name. And so then we need to put name inside the label as we label the input. And now we need that input. So here's the input. Let's give it a type. There we go, text. There it is, text. Now we put in the name, which is name, and the ID, which is going to be name as well. And now I want a placeholder element here also. And this placeholder is going to say your name, giving the user a clue as to what to put in. And let's put in required, as we want the username to be required before they can submit the form. Scroll just a little more for some more room. I'm going to highlight this paragraph now, and once again, Shift Alt and the down arrow. And now I've already got my label and input, and I just need to change some of these things. So this would be email, and we'll change name here to email as well. And now this will be an email input. And then for the name and ID, I'm going to press Control D for each of those remaining name words, and then I can change them all at once to email. Okay, I'm going to save this much, and we see the beginning of our form over here, but we still need the area to put in the message. So I think I want to scroll some more for that, and then return once again, one more paragraph. Inside this paragraph, let's have a label, and now the for here is going to be message. And now inside the label, we'll also put, well, we'll put your message here, that's fine. And then we need a text area, which is a little bit different than a text input. This is going to have the name of message, and it should have the ID of message as well. Columns 30 and rows 10, that's fine, that is the default. And then placeholder also, so let's put a placeholder. Let's set that equal to type your message here, and then the actual message, of course, goes inside the text area. So we'll save that, and now we should see a place they can put their message. Oh, but we can see it looks a little different. This doesn't look quite right. Let's put a break after that label, and then it should put the label up on top of that message box. Now let's scroll a little bit more, and after the field set, but important enough before the form has ended, we need to put a button, and then inside of this button, let's give it an attribute, which is type equals submit, and then let's go ahead and put send for the button text. I'm going to copy this down, Control Alt and the down arrow, and now this type will be reset. So we have a second button, and we can put reset here as well. So now let's save, and we should see our buttons that will send or reset the form. And as I look at everything, I've noticed something. We put our form inside the main element, but I wanted to wrap that inside of a semantic tag as well. Not just the main element, but I wanted to put it inside of a section element. So let's go ahead and put a section element there, and we will copy that, or cut that actually, with Control X, and scroll all the way down to where the form ends and put the closing section there. Now let's save that. It doesn't make the page look any different, but it holds up the HTML semantics better. And the main reason we need it is because the form is not the only content of the page. So we have another section here, and this section has an H2 of its own, and here we can put our location, which goes nicely with a contact us page as well. So now we've got the H2 there, and we need an address element because now we can put our location inside of this address element. So it's 555 Taco Temptation Lane, and then it's at Sweet Tea, line break, and then Kansas City, Missouri, and then 55555-5555, completely fictitious zip code. After that, we'll put in a line break and another line break, and then let's put in a phone number, which is also fictitious, but we want an actual link that will work to make your phone or whatever mobile device dial the phone number. And we can do that with the TEL abbreviation, and then we need a plus, and then 555-555-5555. There we go. And then we can put the link, so it's 555-555-5555. And now we've completed the address section. So if we save that and scroll up a little bit, there is the location information. And with that, I believe we have completed our website in the 3 pages. So I hope this tutorial has helped, and more than that, I hope you were able to complete much of it on your own before watching the tutorial. Let's expand Chrome and look at our overall site. So if we go to the home page, here it is. Here's everything we added. Here's the back to the top link. That works too. We can go to the menu. That's great. We should be able to go to the About LTS. Yep, that works good too. Mouse over an image and we get our title text. All of that's as expected. Store hours, everything looks like it should here as well. And then the contact us page, everything's looking good here. Let's go ahead and try the contact us information. So then we say Dave.Dave, whatever, and then Dave in the message. That's fine. Send, and yes, it goes to the http bin.org, and we see the information from the form, and that's a great site to test out forms on. So everything is looking as it should. I'm ready to go get some tacos. Congratulations on completing your HTML project. Remember to keep striving for progress over perfection, and a little progress every day will go a very long way. Please give this video a like if it's helped you, and thank you for watching and subscribing. You're helping my channel grow. Have a great day, and let's write more code together very soon.